All right, Facebook Live. We are coming to you from the home office as it's raining heavily in the Austin area. Meanwhile, in the hill country, there are already signs of some glaze, some light wintry mix perhaps developing. So just keep in mind things are going to become increasingly dicey as the night wears on. All right, I'm going to share this over to Twitter real quick and then we'll get to it. Okay. And in just a moment, I am going to start this thing going. So thanks to everyone who's checking in tonight. It's a late night. Many of you don't have to worry about work or school in the morning, which is great news. You may be hearing thunder. I am too. I was just sitting here firing up the Facebook Live and I was like, yep, rumbles of thunder. So how appropriate. I decided I would wear my thunderstorm shirt while doing the update. Oh, and I have a special guest. I don't know where Skippy is, but we do have the Wuckster. How's it going? Are you doing well? I hope you ran out before it got all wet and stuff. Yeah? Yes. So we have our mascots for the night here hanging out. As you can see on radar, it's kind of getting crazy, isn't it? So overall, here is where we stand. Yes, I missed you too. I love your welcome wagon. Whenever I come home, the boys are always so excited to have me here. So here's my suggestion. If you can, stay home. Hunker down. I was actually surprised by how much traffic there was on my ride home. Temperature the whole time I was heading home was 37 degrees with steady rain. And as you can see here on radar, it is coming down pretty heavily. And occasionally, as I zoom in here a little bit, there are some bolts of lightning, some thunderstorms rolling right through Austin. Now, they're not severe, and I gotta say, thank goodness temperatures are still above freezing. Otherwise, do you realize the snow rates that you can get if it's cold enough? If there's thunder snow or thunder sleet, you can sometimes get incredible rates of wintry weather out of them. But as you can see, there's some lightning from Oak Hill out toward, Barton Creek Square area, South Austin, downtown Austin, along with very heavy rain. I'm going to go ahead and put this into the stopped mode, and I'm going to query for you some of the rain rates within this area near Sunset Valley, which is one of the heavier spots. It's showing almost 2-inch per hour rain rates. So honestly, fingers crossed. Thank goodness this isn't wintry precipitation because it would be a quick incredible mess. The downside is once temperatures do reach freezing, there's so much moisture that's already out there. There were lots of puddles and things as I was driving home. Chances are you're going to be in a situation where we may even deal with like a flash freeze situation where standing water that is in places once temperatures drop by morning will freeze. I say by morning, I mean, it could be in a matter of a few hours for some of the areas as far as the freezing potential exists. And just for kicks, occasionally with these things, you can actually have enough instability for some small hail. I didn't check before I went on here, but I figured let's go ahead and see. Are these things hefty enough to pack any hail? Well, it's showing maybe some small hail. I doubt it's actually hailing, but as you can see, some of those greens across the area, sometimes that can mean small hail, but more than likely, probably not. Let me look at one more thing. Man, it's been a while since we had like legitimate thunderstorms. All right, I'm going to zoom this out just to be sure that there's nothing showing up on our hail tracker. And it does look like it is coming back clear. So more than likely the thunderstorms that we're dealing with are just plain storms as opposed to anything beyond that. But now let's talk about the winter weather element of this thing. Okay, I said 5 freezes ahead. You know what? I'm going to make that 6. So just let me cross that out real quick. Cross that out. We're going to say 6 freezes ahead as far as temperatures are concerned. We'll get back to radar. We'll zoom in on temperatures, but I also want to show you the 7-day forecast, which the big highlight is temperatures right now, at least in Austin, are above freezing, but they're going to be falling as we continue through the overnight. So originally I was saying about 32 degrees by 5 a.m. Temps have been dropping a little faster than I was originally thinking. So it's totally within the realm of possibilities that we see the temp fall to 32 maybe as early as 3 or 4 a.m. as opposed to the 5 a.m. that I'm currently advertising. But the overall theme is it'll be warmer in the morning, and then temps are going to fall through the afternoon and evening. So basically from 32 pre-dawn all the way down to 18 by Friday morning. Not only that, but wind chills are going to be a factor. Note here, I've got our winds out of the north at 15 to 20 on Thursday, and winds out of the north-northwest 10 to 15 on Friday. With those kinds of winds, we're going to have very dangerous wind chills. And as I mentioned, yes, I do think we're going to have not just 5, but potentially 6 freezes in a row. So we're going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the next 7 days with freezing temperatures. Now, another thing that's worth noting, though, is we're very weighted on sunshine once we get toward the weekend and next week. No big weather makers, no big changes. At the same time, I also need to call your attention to the fact that our average high is 65 degrees. Do you see anything close to that? Not until Wednesday of next week, and that's still 62. So we've got a full solid week of cold temperatures that are going to be combined with morning freezes every day, but at least only one round of wintry weather. So in case it's not abundantly clear, Thursday is a weather alert day. We've got an ice storm on our hands. We could see some sleet. Not out of the realm of possibilities to see a little bit of light snow. I'll tell you what I saw on Facebook. One of you, I'm not sure if you're joining me right now, but on Facebook, a viewer was mentioning that their weather app was saying 3 to 6 inches of snow. Let me stress to you, those weather apps sometimes are like incredibly wrong. Another person sent me a screenshot of their app that was showing for Round Rock heavy snow. Now, it's not snowing in Round Rock, so just keep in mind you got to be a little bit what should we say, appropriately skeptical, I guess you could say, of some of those apps that a lot of times may miss the mark in terms of what they're showing. I will say that you can always check our CBS Austin weather app and get the interactive radar and all that good stuff. And sometimes, just so you know, sometimes you'll see pink on our radar and it may not necessarily correlate to ground truth. It's what the radar beam is showing, and it's trying to use a bunch of equations to correlate. Oh, we think this is probably freezing rain, or oh, we think this is probably sleet, or oh, this is possibly snow. It doesn't always correlate exactly so just keep that in mind. All right, here's a look at our Chase Bank Tower currently, and obviously it's hard to see whether there's anything wintry falling. I would pretty much tell you at this point temperature's still above freezing, so it is likely not wintry. I'm trying to connect to my on my iPad. I've got the National Weather Service feed, so I can check in with you and let you know what kind of updates there are. Basically, the last things that have been coming across for our area, out in Kerr County, there's been a little bit of light icing reported in places like Mountain Home. And it's possible that portions of the hill country, maybe Llano, Mason, Gillespie, even Blanco and Burnett counties could start to see some light icing as that cooler temperature trend comes in. Now, also I wanted to mention to you, because we're always complaining about cedar. Cedar count is 30 today and the mold count 1695. All right, now let's move along and kind of dive into the rest of this thing. I talked about the freeze, the winter storm. It's officially Thursday, but until I go to sleep, we're calling it Wednesday night, okay? So Wednesday is what we're going to pretend the day still is, even though technically it is past midnight. Thanks, by the way, for all of you who are staying up late tonight. Chances are you're a little anxious as well. I mean, I feel like the words PTSD from last year's storm really resound with a lot of people. All right, and there you go. Austin, 12:23 in the morning, 37 degrees, thunderstorms. If you move this temperature down a little bit, we are getting crazy snowfall rates. If you have thunder snow, oftentimes you can get snow rates of 3, even 4 inches per hour. It's the coolest thing on earth, I gotta say. I've experienced it and it's really fun. Obviously, we didn't want to have thunder sleet or thunder freezing rain. Thank goodness that we're not dealing with that. It's just plain old rain at this point. Right, I'm pulling up my National Weather Service chat so I can confirm whether there have been any other updates in our area of any wintry precipitation. So that'll take just a second to come up. So, and then the other thing I ought to tell you is that this rain projection of 0.08, it'll be updated. Some areas, especially in Austin proper, have gotten over a ½ inch of rain. And now that the thunderstorms are here, we're going to see additional rainfall. So here's a look at your Thursday planner. I've got you at 30 at 8 a.m., 28 at noon, 26 by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Decreasing chances of precipitation as the day wears on. Again, the north wind about 15 to 20 miles per hour. So take the temperature and you can basically subtract a solid 5 to 10 degrees for what it will actually feel like with those wind chills. And we'll walk you through the wind chills in just a second. So here's our patchwork quilt of warnings. The greatest impact will be in the areas in pink. That is where the winter storm warning is in effect. The primary concern is icing, which could be significant. In addition to that, a lower impact for those of you who are down in Fayette County, points south and east. That is where we're likely to see less icing, but still some impacts. My advice, if you don't have to be on the roads, don't be on the roads. Again, if you've been out there lately, you know it's raining like crazy. That moisture isn't just magically going to evaporate before temperatures freeze. Instead, anything, especially like sidewalks and walkways and steps and railings, like anything that's wet now will be glazed later as a result of the freeze that's going to take place. And I know TxDOT was like, we're out here, we're doing our treating. Yes, they were. I actually don't know. Ooh, we got another boy. Come here. Oh, you're soaking wet. Hop up here. Skippy just ran outside. Oh my goodness, you're soaking wet. I can't believe you went out in the rain. You stink too. Did you know that? You stink. But anyway, I was going to say, TxDOT, they treated surfaces with this brine. I was actually going to do some research. Let me know, like chime in if any of you are aware of kind of how that brine works. But I got to thinking, if it's been raining ever since that pre-treatment was put on there, like how long does it have to rain before it's basically washing away the brine that they used to pre-treat? Maybe it's magic and rain doesn't mess with it, but I kind of had to think, especially with the heavy rain and storms that we're dealing with right now, is it possible that the brine is basically just getting washed away, which would then basically leave us as, you know, prey for slippery conditions and skating rink conditions? I don't know. As you can see, temperature-wise, the areas that are not seeing a lot of heavy precip have already dropped to freezing. Those of you watching in Llano, Willow City, Fredericksburg, Doss, the Harper area, Mason. By the way, just so you know, I'm working on doing some more cities on our maps. And I had a couple people out in the Gillespie County area say, why do you put Doss on the map? It's because Doss has an LCRA, Lower Colorado River Authority temperature station that's really easy to pull data from. But I'm going to effort doing a separate map that will include Harper for those of you out in Western Gillespie County. I hear ya. We are watching as there's a little bit right here of pink that's showing up for possible mixing in Blanco County. Let me know in the comments section if you're experiencing any mix yet. And then let's go ahead and take a jump out. We'll jump out a little bit and show you kind of the broader view. So it's pretty impressive. From the thunderstorms that we have here rolling right along I-35 and up toward Milam County. Then we have this freezing rain right in here. Then we have sleet that's right in here. And then we have snow that's all the way in here. And it is just going to be a huge, absolute cluster as far as travel conditions are concerned. Oh, and by the way, we're not alone. Millions upon millions upon millions of people are all dealing with winter weather situations. In fact, I'm curious to see what this darker fuchsia color corresponds to. Let's see. That would be an ice storm warning. So folks, it could be worse. Ours is a winter storm warning, which is bad enough. At least we aren't dealing with the ice storm warning that portions of, woo, the doggies are riled up. Portions of the Ohio Valley, as well as right along the Mississippi from basically right along the border of Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern sections of Illinois. Boys, boys, boys! They've decided they're going to have a little argument as we speak. But anyway, just incredible amounts of winter impacts going on. If you haven't already downloaded it, our CBS Austin Storm Tracker weather app, it's free in the App Store and Google Play. You can get our forecast. You can look at interactive radar. I think it's pretty handy. Ooh, just got a report. This, oh no. Okay, you guys, the thing that we've been talking about ad nauseum is power outages or no power outages. 33,000 power outages in the state of Texas now. I mean, it's not millions, but you don't like hearing that number. Okay, so unfortunately, and I have to say, I don't know where Princeton, Texas is, but it's coming out of the National Weather Service that's up in Fort Worth. This is a social media report that just came through. Ice is building up, trees are exploding. We just lost half of a giant oak tree and one of our barns just collapsed. No power. Ew. Honestly, I feel like I need to Google search right this second, where is Princeton? Because that's not good news. So anyway, just keep in mind, it's probably worse there than it is here, but it's not good here either. Okay, so let's go hour by hour, walking through the forecast. As you can see, midnight, which is where we are right now, well, it's actually 12:30. This particular computer model was indicating heavy rain across the I-35 corridor, which is correlating. Temperatures, though, we're still at 37, I believe, in Austin as opposed to 34, so that's 3 degrees difference. As we head toward 5 a.m., getting to the freezing mark in Austin, all the areas in pink would be where we would have a mix and or freezing rain, with freezing rain being the primary threat, icing, sleet being the secondary, which you can drive on sleet. It's not fun, but you can drive on it. And then at this point through the morning, I'm not anticipating any change over to snow yet, but look at those temperatures. Llano, Mason, Fredericksburg, Burnett, Blanco, all in the 20s. Okay, by 9 a.m., it's possible we may start to see a little bit of snow out in western hill country on the backside of this system. Incidentally enough, folks in LaGrange, you may get off comparatively easier than the rest of us. If you stay around 33 degrees through mid-morning, you're living large because the rest of us will all be skating on skating rink type conditions. And then you finally drop to freezing as we head toward late morning and into the early afternoon hours. Back edge of the precip should be clear of the hill country for the most part by about midday. And then it continues working its way off toward the south and east. Temperatures, meanwhile, through the day are going to be falling instead of rising, so it's not going to get better, it's just going to get worse, but at least it'll dry out. So perhaps the last of the wintry precip out of here by late afternoon in Austin. Incidentally enough, there could be that end little burst of snow, and it might be enough for a coating. One computer model earlier was projecting maybe some spots that get a half an inch to an inch of snow on top of the ice. I guess that would at least be a pretty ending, right? So then we're totally clear by Thursday evening, and it's just transitioning to talking about the wind and the cold and the misery that everyone will be going through. All right, let's check in on ice accumulations. Oopsie, you know what? Because of the fact it's past midnight, this thing decided to go all willy-nilly on me. And so disregard this ice map because for whatever reason, I think that the computer model has updated. And so it is unfortunately not showing. It's because it started on Wednesday, and since it's Thursday, technically, I'll see if I can get one of the other maps to be more cooperative. Otherwise, I can go into the editor and we'll show the latest ice projections. Hadn't thought about the fact that since it's past midnight, my graphics would be screwy. But in general, here's my forecast. I really haven't changed it much. I'm kind of like staying the course with the idea that this is going to be a significant storm system, but basically calling it February 2021 light, as in not as bad as what we dealt with a year ago, because it's only going to be a one-day storm, and after that we're done. But ice, I think it's totally fair game. We see a quarter of an inch, possibly as much as a half an inch. Snow, my coating possible. Might even see a half an inch of sleet, perhaps. Cold, the worst of the cold Friday morning. Wind chills close to 0. I mean, so this is going to be an extreme impact as far as cold. A potentially high impact as far as ice. No big deal with the snow, but at least it'll be something pretty to enjoy at the end, right? And I thought you guys would be kind of interested. We talk a lot about, oh, a quarter of an inch of ice accumulation. And because we have ice storms so infrequently, you might not really understand what the scope of that or what the impact of that might be. So let's say we only get 1/4 of an inch of ice. We're talking windshields coated, bridges slick, light ice on trees. That is already happening in parts of the far western hill country, so I mean, I think that's a pretty good bet. What about if we pick up somewhere in the range of 1/4 to 1/2 inch, which is basically what my forecast is? Tree limbs break, most roads ice up, and scattered power outages. I think this is what we're looking at. It's already happening up north, 33,000 power outages across the state. If any areas unfortunately manage to see more than 1/2 inch of ice accumulation, that's just downright crippling storm. Numerous trees down, widespread power line damage, roads become impassable, and this is a situation where you would just literally be like, okay, please sun come out and melt it for us. Friday, by the way, we should see some sunshine, which should help melting. I do think temperatures will warm just above freezing. I'm forecasting 35 on Friday. And at the same time, we'll also have a process called sublimation, where the ice will basically evaporate. And so that will eventually kind of erode the ice that may be on power lines and trees and this kind of thing. I saw an interesting stat, though, that says something like 1/4 inch of ice accumulation on tree limbs can weigh it down 500 times what it normally is. I mean, it's mind-boggling how much. I mean, if you think about that little ice accretion on every little twig that's on a big tree and how that will probably at least make them sag, and in some cases make those trees come down, as we saw that report. Okay, Fannin County, also in North Texas, getting, oh my goodness, icing on wires, as in power lines, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Still getting moderate freezing rain, temperatures varying between 29 and 30 degrees. Local bridge is iced over. Okay, so it's already going down in North Texas, and it's just a matter of time before we have to contend with the same. Earlier, I was showing you the other computer model that was not showing any ice accumulation because it was past midnight. Thankfully, I set this one up to where it's independent of when midnight occurs. So, honestly, just to ballpark it for you, it's totally fair game. Most of our area is affected by what I'm going to call a significant icing event. Less for those of you in Fayette County, but still some effects. And between these two computer models, just to like put it out here, this one, and I'm gonna pull my check marks. This one over here, the European computer model, really didn't do a good job last year with the big winter storm events. This one over here did a much better job. So if you're trying to eyeball, well, which one would you lean toward? In this instance, I would probably lean toward this one. And just in case you didn't notice, this area right in here that is being indicated of enhancement may not be showing up with the actual contour of, 1/3 of an inch of ice in Georgetown and 1/4 of an inch of Austin. But if you look at the color guide, we're really looking at potentially some spots that could see a 1/2 inch of icing. So time will tell. The night is young. Oh, by the way, Allison Miller is going to be pinch hitting for Avery Tomasco, who is a new dad. He is enjoying his baby, and I am so excited for him. So Allison will be doing weather in the morning. CBS Austin News starts at 4 a.m. Normally it's 4:30. And then what they're going to do is, if conditions really are horrible, they're going to go on and they're going to stay on as long as it needs to be done, just to make sure everyone is taken care of, safe, knows the road conditions, knows the power situations, all that. All right, unfortunately, this computer model, again, is all willy-nilly, so it's not going to show you snow accumulation, but I think I put another one in later on in the show, so we'll get to it. And basically, the idea of a coating to maybe at most 1 inch on the tail end of the system. So hopefully you've already taken all care of this. People, pets, plants, and pipes. This could be a pipe bursting cold as well. All right. Let's talk temperatures, shall we? So we start in the 30s pre-dawn. We fall into the mid-20s by afternoon. Wind chills are the temperatures on the right. So we're looking at 26 with a wind chill around 14 degrees at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. Watch what happens through the overnight. We fall, and we fall hard, and we fall fast. Friday morning, I'm forecasting 18 degrees with a wind chill of 6. It could feel like 3 in Blanco with a temperature of 17. It could feel like 5 in Mason with a temperature of 15. And LaGrange, you're going to be a little bit better off, but not much. How about 22 with a wind chill of 9? So area-wide, near zero wind chills. Temperatures not fit for man nor beast. That's why Friday is also a weather alert day because of the cold, even though the precipitation will have run out by then. As far as the wind speeds, I've got them here for you. North 15 to 20 on Thursday morning. And on Friday, we still have breezy conditions, north-northwest 10 to 15. So another contributor to the fact that I do think there will be some issues with icing and possibly power outages is the fact that not only are you dealing with wintry precipitation weighing down branches, but then those weighted down branches are also swaying back and forth with these gusty winds. So ultimately, it's not a good situation, which is why I hope everybody stays safe and stays home. Were you at HEB like everybody else? I avoided it. I actually got gas from there, but I did not go inside because the parking lot was full. One little bit, I mean, I feel like we have to offer you some good morsels of hope, is that initially I was thinking Friday we might stay below freezing. I now think we'll thaw out, not by much, but how about mid-30s in Austin by Friday afternoon. Now, everyone should at least for an hour or two warm above freezing, but then we cool back down below for Friday night into Saturday. So it'll be a short-lived enjoyment. Just to let you know kind of what's going on and why currently we're not talking about snow yet is because we've had rain all day long, right? So what's happening in the atmosphere is there is a very shallow layer of cold air. This is where temperatures are cooler than freezing. But above it, there's a warm layer of air. So what's happening right now with areas that are getting freezing rain, that glaze of ice, is this. At the cloud level, what's falling is snow. But then it's reaching the warm air and it's melting into rain. Then that rain refreezes when it reaches the surface. Now, as the storm system moves on and temperatures become colder across the board from top to bottom, then what's going to continue to happen is what falls as snow goes through a much deeper layer of cold air, which allows the melted rain from the partially melted snowflakes to refreeze, and that will in turn give us sleet, which is ice pellets. And then at the very, very tail end of this system, the air from the top of the atmosphere all the way to the bottom of the atmosphere should be freezing, at which point what we see is just a little tiny bit of snow on the tail end of the system. I don't know about you. Snow's easy to drive on and snow's fun. I would gladly welcome if the whole storm system were snow, but it will not be. Unfortunately, we're going to have to contend with the icy situation, so just hang in there. All right, here's the big picture yet again, showing the ice as we work our way through Thursday morning and the snow back behind it. Walk through hour by hour. Here's 1:30 in the afternoon. There's a look at 11 o'clock on Thursday night. And as you can see, by Friday, we've got some clouds around, but otherwise, all the precip is out. By the way, isn't it something that down across the Matagorda Bay area, down across Houston and Galveston Bay, there may be wintry precip early Friday. Crazy, right? Then Friday, we see some breaks in the overcast, but the clouds may be kind of stubborn. We barely thaw out. Looking ahead to Friday night, yeah, still super cold, but then by the weekend, it's sunny, it's in the 40s, and even though 40s sound really cold right now, trust me, by Saturday afternoon, if it's bright and sunny, you'll be like, what a beautiful day, even though it's only 43 degrees. And as we look ahead to Sunday, no issues, lots of sunshine yet again, another beautiful day. We warm into the low 50s, which is still like 13 degrees cooler than the average high by that time. There are signs that there could be a weak cold front that pushes through on a dry note on Monday. No big deal, high temperature up to about 54 degrees. And then as we work our way toward Tuesday, we are loving life, sunny skies, and 60 degrees. Worth noting though, each one of these mornings we could potentially be starting out at around 32 or colder. All right, you know what? we don't have too much to complain about as far as the cold is concerned. Hello, Bismarck, North Dakota. 13 degrees below zero. That, my friends, is only the temperature. I'm just kind of curious. Let's do this on the fly. I think I have a graphic that has the wind chills, and I'm just curious because it's windy up there too, and I have a feeling that it will be mind-bogglingly cold. I just have to find the graphic. Let me pull it up for you. And just because I always feel like misery loves company, and so if we can show you how much worse it is somewhere else, you might appreciate it. Oh, wow. Incidentally enough, it must be calm winds in Bismarck because the wind chill didn't change there. Shame on me for assuming it would be like some ridiculously crazy number. Oh, wait, here's the ridiculously crazy number. The current wind chill in Amarillo is 11 degrees below zero. So yes, there is some shock factor for you after all. Wind chill currently in Dallas is 17. Wind chill in Austin is 30 degrees. And hey, Brownsville, can we have some of your warmth? We like that 73-degree temperature. Feel free to bring it on, right? By the way, our high temperature did make it to 60 before the front came through. Yeah, I have to apologize. These the possible snow graphics, I think I have them both set to where they started on Wednesday, so unfortunately that's why they're not going to show the potential accumulation. I'll go back to one of them in a second. I'll just load it back up so you can see what to expect. So this is a separate computer model than the one I just showed you. Basically the same idea though, is that we see the exit of the precip by about mid-afternoon, and then things dry out and clear out and we enjoy pleasant weather afterwards. Let me see what I have else in store. Ooh, nope, I already showed you that one. I was going to say that was the wind chill map. I think that's pretty much it. So let me go back because I really am. I'm dying to know what this computer model is going to show as far as snowfall, but I have to actually load it up and reset the timing because it confuses the computer because I had it starting on Wednesday. So now I'm going to start it on Thursday, which of course, as you know, is today. And I'm going to start it at, let's see, we'll say 1 a.m. because I don't want to confuse it since right now it's 12. And I'm going to end it at 6:30 p.m. Okay. And so I believe that this should be able to, let me just double check and make sure it plots up. Oh yes, there you go. Okay, let me save this and that way it'll be oriented in the proper spot. And by the way, if you guys have been curious about, how do I do my weather graphics? It's basically like a glorified PowerPoint. If you guys have ever played with PowerPoint, honestly, you'd be a pro at our weather graphics system. It's very similar. So there you go. Could we see some snow? Maybe. Is it going to be a big deal? Nope. Are the kids going to love it? Probably. So yeah, potential for some snow. All right, and I'm looking to see, okay, new things. Freeze watch is in effect for Brownsville, so take that, 73 degrees. You guys are going to freeze too. Let's see what else. 4,800 FCEC customers have power outages. That's in Fannin County up in North Texas. Oh, ATX floods, a closure. Low water crossing number 20, Old Bee Caves Road. So that's a new one, just because of the heavy rain that we've seen. So that actually reminds me that I should show you guys the 24-hour rainfall totals. I actually have that super quick and easy that I can pop up here. So we can take a look because it has been raining crazy. Oh, look at this. Okay, so on the heels of Monday, when we saw some areas along I-35 pick up between 2 and 4 inches of rain, look at this. There are some spots that are picking up. I'm going to zoom in real quick. There's some spots in and around Austin that have picked up 1.5 inches of rain. I'm going to query some of these heavier pockets. Anyone near St. Ed's in South Austin looks like 1.4. Out near Barton Creek, 1.2, 1.2 just east of I-35. Let's see, looks like a little pixel of extra rain near Pflugerville, 2.2. Anyone in Pflugerville, you're getting the rain and then some. Let's check Circleville. Looks like about 2.1 inches there. There's some pretty sharp, talk about a sharp cutoff. Look at this, which is interesting because this is going to be our water source. Lake Travis, only about 1/4 inch. And then you head to the Pennybacker Bridge, the 360 overlook. picking up 1.25 inches. So you know why? It's what we call training, and it's where the rain basically pulls across the same area time and time again. So that's exactly what we're seeing, is a southwest to northeast movement of heavy showers and thunderstorms. So that did prompt the low water crossing there at Old Bee Caves Road to be closed. Let me check other updates. I think those are the only recent ones that have come in. So at this point, low water crossings, definitely something to keep in mind given the heavy rain that we have had. And in addition to that, just monitoring for what will be light icing developing in the next few hours and potentially really bad icing as the night wears on. And then let me go to one more. Remember how there was the original ice map I was going to show you, and then it was the wrong date time. So I'm going to load it up, and just like I did the snowfall map, I'm going to start it on Thursday at 1 a.m. just to give you guys an idea, because I like using these high-res computer models because they update more frequently than some of the others, and usually can latch on to some of the trends of looking at where precipitation is currently happening, and then usually giving you a kind of a better idea based on how much of the storm has evolved so far. All right, so let's take a look. And this is the revised icing potential. So, I mean, folks, this is pretty bad. Even if Austin gets off relatively lower at 18/100ths of an inch, that's still going to be bad. Know that bridges and overpasses freeze first. Know that if it ends up being close to a 1/2 inch of ice accumulation, this computer model is showing the hot spots out toward Lockhart, Bastrop, Giddings, and also out toward Mason. Or if that ends up being closer to Northwest Travis, Georgetown, Leander, Florence, Jarrell, Burnett, either way, that's going to be some significant issues. There could be tree damage, there could be power line damage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, those of you on the CBS Austin page, Allison Miller, she's actually going to be in really soon because the newscast starts at 4 a.m. So she will have you covered all the way through the morning hours. And then, of course, I'll join in probably once everything's winding down we're going to have basically 24-hour staffing for the day on Thursday, just to make sure that we keep you in the know. You can always go to cbsaustin.com for updates as well. All right, take care. Have a great night. Hang in there. This too shall pass. Sunshine on Saturday and Sunday. Thank goodness. And actually, before I go, let's show you radar one more time. We'll show you radar and the temperatures one more time. So, and then I'll let y'all go. So still 37 in Austin. But down to 28 in Doss. Oh, it's going to be a long night and a long day tomorrow. All right, take care, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, those of you who are still on Facebook, I will answer all your questions in a moment. Those of you on YouTube, thank you so much for checking in. If you want if you want to join in on the Facebook Live, I'm on Facebook Live right now as well simultaneously, and I'll answer questions there for you.